Tonight on Politics Unplugged, an exclusive interview with Governor Doug Ducey the night before he delivers his State of the State address.
Is it really sunk in yet that you are governor?
It's sinking in. You know, when you come into the state capitol and you're used to going to the first floor and now you go to the ninth floor, especially when we're focused on the budget, focused on inauguration, focused on State of the State. We're excited. There's a lot of opportunity.
Now, during your inaugural speech, lots been made about your statement. You took taxes completely off the table. Just help our viewers understand, help me understand, how do you balance a $1 billion budget shortfall without new revenues and without further deep cuts to, K-12 education, higher education?
Well, we need to live within our means, and I'm going to lead with what I call a classrooms first initiative, and then we're going to find a way to balance this budget. We do have some time to do it. We do have some money in the bank. It's a different situation than what we went through in 2009. We have $1 billion cash in our checking account, $454 million in a rainy day account. So I want to do the right thing so that we have a growing state, protects our taxpayers, and allows our economy to continue to grow.
Now, you took taxes off the table. Can you look at the people of Arizona and tell them that you are going to take cuts to K-12 education off the table?
We are going to protect classroom spending, and I'll share something with you that I'm going to talk about in the State of the State. We are going to put more money into the classroom next year.
Can you be more specific on that? What for what?
I'll give the budget release on Friday, but we want to see civics being taught and tested in the schools. We want to see our classrooms protected, and we're going to tighten our belt here at the state government. We're going to start with a hiring freeze, and those are things that you'll hear more about on Monday at State of the State, and see the specific numbers on Friday in our budget release.
Okay, this civics exam, is this something that's similar to the citizenship test given to immigrants wanting citizenship here in the United States?
Yes, it's identical. This is something that different studies have shown 96% of our kids can't pass. This is basic civics, fundamental stuff, nonpartisan, non-ideological. It's a fundamental thing, and it's really something that can bring people together in education. So I'd like to start with it. I'd like to lead on it. I'd like it to be the first bill I sign.
I understand there's a timetable on this. You'd like to get it signed the first week.
I'd love to get it signed. I'm going to work with the legislature. Part of our civics exam is that this is a separate and co-equal branch, so I'm going to treat them with that kind of respect. But John Adams said that kids should be instructed in the lessons of liberty. Ronald Reagan said if we don't know who we are, that would be deeply concerning, and Sandra Day O'Connor says that this is a quiet crisis in education. So if our kids don't know who Sandra Day O'Connor, John Adams, and Ronald Reagan are, that's an issue.
Excellent. Now, hiring freeze. Isn't there already a kind of a moratorium on hiring at the state level right now?
We are going to continue. We are going to have a hiring freeze. Now, we're going to protect, I want to qualify that, we're going to protect child safety, we're going to protect public safety, but we're going to have that freeze go across the rest of the government, and like I said, tighten the belt and navigate through this fiscal crisis that we have. But I think it's solvable.
Now, Medicaid expansion, another big issue. Legislature is suing to undo Brewer's plan. Where are you on this now that you are sitting up here?
We're consulting legal counsel on what next steps are on this, and we have some time before a decision is due, so let me do my study work on this.
Okay, I want to move on to immigration a little bit. Tell us, what are we going to hear in the State of the State speech on border security? So top priority for you in the campaign.
Well, I ran on getting our economy growing. I ran on restoring our K-12 education system. And what you're going to hear is in the budget release, you're going to see the focus that we have on public safety, and that's what results in what is very much a state concern as a border state, and how we'll focus on that.
Okay, and there's some lawsuits moving forward on immigration here in the state. I know that our big supporter of yours, Joe Arpaio, is suing the president for his executive actions. Is this something that you would support moving forward, is suing the government over those executive actions?
Well, it depends what the government is trying to do. I want to be in charge of our state government, and I want to be focused on what I ran on.
And you were talking about getting more technology down on the border during the campaign. Is there any money to do that?
Well, I think it's really purposing budget right now, I believe, is give or take a few $1 million, about $300 million in Department of Public Safety. So it's how we're spending those dollars and how we'll spend it going forward. But I would like to see state government advance a bit in the technology sphere.
All right, I want to stick with spending again. I was looking through some budget numbers. I think there was another release too by Children's Action Alliance that shows that the state now spends more money on corrections than it does junior colleges and universities combined. Is that where the state's priorities are? Is that where your priorities are going to be as governor?
The state's priority is around education. That's where we'll spend most of our money as on K-12 education. Like I said, I'm also going to be focused on getting our economy going in the right direction, and I think when you have that, you have more opportunities for more people to get a job, build a fulfilling career, and that's a way to navigate through some of the budget mess we have right now.
But are we going to see that reverse itself during your administration? Are you going to start putting more money into higher education, and so you're spending more money on that instead of incarceration? I
look at higher education as an investment that a state makes, that a person makes in themselves. The results in terms of prosperity, higher earning power, and quality of life have really shown themselves over the last several decades. So we'll want to work with the universities to the best of our ability while we navigate what is a real difficult budget situation in this coming year.
Now, I understand that higher ed could be seeing a lot more cuts this coming session.
And you'll hear details on what's going to happen in the budget on a preview on a Monday, and all the specifics, Dennis, on Friday in the budget release.
Are we going to hear about, in that speech, are we going to hear you say that higher education, there will be more cuts?
You're going to hear me say that we're going to protect classrooms first, and we're going to have an initiative on that in K-12. We're a week away on some of that, so we're working hard here. I'm reaching out to House and Senate leadership on both sides to see what we can come to agreement on. All right, and also a lot's been made of the $317 million out that the state leaders have been ordered to pay back K-12 education. Are you going to continue fighting and holding up that lawsuit, or are you going to fight to try to get that money into the classroom? I'll give you a little teaser here, Dennis. I'm going to have a specific message for the legislature, the education establishment, and the Attorney General on Monday afternoon. Any care to give us any more than that, just that teaser? As I've heard you say, Dennis, tune in then. That's excellent. I want to move a little bit onto social issues. A lot of people concerned about other bills like Senate Bill 1062. If something like that comes across your desk this year, it's been passed several times now by this legislature. Is Governor Ducey going to sign that bill? Well, I've answered this question all during the campaign. I've said what I'm going to do, and I'm going to address specific bills as they come forward, and there's no bill on the table, so that's a hypothetical. So, but I mean, I know it's a hypothetical, but like I said, it's been passed several times now, and Kathy Herod was praising you recently, saying that thanking you for not wavering, and she's a big supporter of yours. Well, I'm grateful for support, and I've talked about the agenda that I want to move forward and what my priorities are. We're going to start with fiscal responsibility. We're going to focus on this budget. We're going to focus on the education and restoring that, and we're going to focus on our economy. What else are we to expect from your State of the State speech on Monday? I'll talk a bit about other ways that we can serve in state government and as citizens. But in terms of fiscal responsibility, economic development, and educational excellence, that's going to be what I focus on. That's what I ran on. That's what I touched on at the inauguration. That's what I intend to govern on. Yeah, I mean, a lot of businesses, speaking with education, with economy, which is really big with you, a lot of businesses, I've talked to business leaders out here, they say businesses don't want to come here because our education system is seen as so poorly. We have a very good education system. We have, in some places, the best schools in the country. The problem is, in many areas, we have kids that are trapped and can't get an education. So what I want people to know, we have 3 of the top 10 high schools in the nation, Dennis, right here, public schools in Arizona. But we also have issues where kids are falling through the cracks. This is not an Arizona-specific issue. This is happening across the country. American K-12 education has been going in the right direction. I want to improve and restore our education here in Arizona. This is a state responsibility, and I want to take the lead on it. I think some people are a little bit interested, just from your perspective, of your meeting with Obama. You ran a campaign really
bashing that president. You said that you were tired of the lectures and lawsuits from the Obama administration. What was that meeting like? In addition to that, do you think he should have stopped at the VA?
Well, the campaign is over. I welcomed the president to Arizona, and I don't have any comment on what he should be doing. My plate is full with what I need to be doing as a governor of the state, and I'm looking forward to getting after it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Dennis.
We've got much more still ahead on Politics Unplugged. Despite calls for a visit, President Obama doesn't make a stop at the VA Medical Center. Instead, he, along with his entire motorcade, drive right past it. Plus, health care coverage for nearly 1 million Arizonans now in jeopardy. If Medicaid expansion survives, can we afford it? Next on Politics Unplugged.